Okay, so Walter, welcome to today's class. This is just but an introductory kind of session. So I'm just here to give you a brief introduction about the program, what to expect in the next few weeks. It depends with how fast we will go, but that is not the major thing. The major thing is for you to understand the entire course, the entire program, and to make sure at the end of the day you're getting the necessary skills that are needed as a business analyst. So the name of the course is Practitioner Certified Business Analysis as you enroll. So that is the name of the course. And I'll be your facilitator throughout this program alongside my other colleague who is called Mike Nixon. So he will also be taking some other units with you later on. So this is a program that is accredited by GSDC. GSDC stands for Global Skills Development Council. It's an organization from Singapore, so it's a body that is accrediting this particular course, and it is collaborating alongside with uh, African Center of Data Science and Analytics. So we are the ones delivering the course to make sure that all students in who enroll are getting the necessary skills that they want, that they are supposed to as business analysts. So in today's sessions, so these are the main things that we are going to discuss. Roughly, I'm estimating a 45-minute kind of an orientation for you to be able to get or to grasp what to expect. So uh, today, not a technical kind of content. So today we are not going to get deep into the topics and everything. So it's all about welcome and introduction. So who is in the room? So um, Maxwell. So we'll just get to know you get to know who is Maxwell, who is your trainer, who is your facilitator, and also get to know about you, your background, and everything, and what do you expect from this course, so that at the end of the day you personally you have a particular objective that you want to achieve, but and there is a reason why you enroll to business analysis course. There is something that you want to achieve, and we want to make sure that at the end of the day you get specifically what you wanted. So that is all about that, the institution behind this program, and then the program itself. So we'll go bit by bit, see the units, what we have inside, what kind of objectives to expect from each particular unit, and then there is certification about this particular program and the career path that you personally as a business analyst you are going to follow, so that you have a very good trajectory as a business analyst. The same way you start, you finish undergraduate, you go to intern position, and then after internship, interning somewhere, you get an internship kind of, and then you can get an what we call the associate kind of programs, and then maybe sometimes you can get into permanent positions, and then after that you can be a manager and assistant, and then maybe the manager now, and then you just progressively go upwards. So, and then what are some of the things that you are going to expect from this particular program? Your expectation personally, I want to lead to hear from it, so that anytime we train you, we make sure that it it's aligned with what you want specifically. Yeah. So, and then at the end of the day, in case you have questions that you have for me, you feel free to ask. Please, this is a learning session. No, there is no stupid question. So even if just ask anything about the program that you have, or maybe anything that you feel that is going to contribute towards your end goal in this particular program. So my name is, so I'm your facilitator. I told you at the end of the day. So my name is Maxwell. So I'm Maxwell Leleur. That's my real name. I'm the lead trainer in this particular program. I told you that we work with my colleague called Mike Nixon as well. He will able to take you through also this program. Then I've been practicing business analysis in all areas of my work. So for me, I work in one of the big four firms also. So I also am a trainer. So in my day-to-day work, I have a background in actuarial science. So I did actuarial science. So I have business analysis is something that we apply in our day-to-day work, because remember that as a business analyst, it's all about providing a solution to an organization, and that is the same case that I normally do in my work. And I can't apply business analysis if I have not learned it. I can be good at my work, but your overall business understanding of the business is quite low. So you don't understand what is all about the business. You are just there, you have the technical skills, you're good in Excel, you're good in applying the various tools that business analysts use, but you don't have an understanding about the entire business, how the business is operating, because every business, they normally have an how they operate at a larger, or if you take what you call specs, or if you go to the business ecosystem, there is how these particular businesses operate, and that's how they are able to um, outperform other businesses, because they bring the best business developers on board. That's why you see every company is having business developers, because they're the ones who are assisting the organizations to move forward by providing the best solutions that will put them at the top in the next maybe like 5 to 10 years. That's why we call about we have something like projections. You normally use past historical data to determine the future. So that is the same case with business analysis. You have to sit down, see a problem within the business, and you come up with a solution as far as depending on how the business is operating, because different organizations, they operate differently. So you don't expect this particular organization to work the same as uh, another organization. So that is why your business skills should be at top notch in any organization for you to be promoted, or just go like you need to go up. And you can go up by providing a solution to an organization, because if maybe Walter, where you're working currently, every organization has problems. They normally have what you call process problems, how they are operating. You just have to identify any kind of gap within that organization, and you just provide a solution for that organizations, and you'll see how best uh, your career path is going to go up. Then so so you'll see how that, and then we have the quantification, quantitative kind of foundation. So I have had a very good quantitative kind of foundations from my background in actuarial science. So I have also skills in data science specialization. So I'm specializing in data science, um, learning about the requirements, what you need, the process analysis, decisions makings, the insights that I get uh, from the data and everything, analytics part of it. I'm also doing data. I'm also finalizing my MSc in data science, so I'm doing data science also. So you see, these are some of the skills that we need, because you'll notice that also as a business analyst, you need to have a very good data analysis skills, because there is a module we will be learning about data modeling. So you have to learn how to model data so that you can communicate certain ideas to your stakeholders. Remember, business analysts normally they deal with stakeholders most of the time of the whole entire company, who are both externally and internally. So we'll see that. And then I'm an experienced trainer, so I've been training other courses apart from this. I also train data science courses, the softwares and everything. And I've been training for quite long. So at least this has given me a better understanding of how these particular courses operate. So you see, business analysis, you have to understand or link it with data skills. Data is everywhere. You can't uh, escape this particular skill. Make sure you have a very good data skills. Um, then the institution behind this particular program. So we talked about the African Center for Data Science, which is the training institute in this case. So for African Center, so we have been training more than 1,500 learners who have been trained so far, and we have more than 20 plus elite trainers drawn from the industry with corporate clients across East Africa, including revenue authorities, banks, and non-governmental organizations. So you'll see at the end of the program, we have listed some of our employers who have employed some of our candidates who have they work in various industries. So we'll see. Then we talked about GSDC plus NITA. You know NITA, and then so I've told you about the Global Skills Development Council, which is it's a firm from Singapore, which is a professional bodies, and it's the one that normally sets the exam for GSDC for this particular program. PCBA. Then NITA is the Kenya National Industrial Training Authority, you know it, which enhances skills. So it is also another body that has accredited this particular course. Then why should you learn business analysis? Particularly you, Walter. What you need to understand, as I was explaining from the start, is that every organization is changing. You'll notice that most of the organizations, they are adopting to new systems. So they want to bring in new systems, new processes of the way they operate. They have new regulations or policies that they use to operate with. Then you'll notice that you personally, as a business analyst or a business developer, you are the ones or you are the people who normally bridge between the business problems and the working solution itself. That's why I was trying to give you a very good example of, for example, if you're working in an insurance company or maybe you're working in a banking sector, and then you notice that they have a defaultive kind of systems. The systems are not operating well. Maybe they have very good client and then they cannot be able to retain. They have low client retentions. They can't even like flag uh, bad transactions, or maybe anytime there is an issue from the client and everything. You as a business developer, you sit down, you see that you map out the problem, and then you provide a solution, and then you tell the organization that we can be able to build this and this and this. If we put these measures into this and this and this, we can be able to have high customer retention rate, because most of the companies are focusing on having high customer retention rates, and they also want to have high sales retention rate, because if you're working in an e-commerce kind of organizations, they mostly focus on their sales retention rates and the customer retention rate that they have. Yeah, so they can focus maybe every quarter they want to have increase their sales by 20%, 30%, and so on. So that's what you're supposed to put at the back of your mind. That's what most of the organizations work with. One thing is they're top rated, kind of, it's a career path globally for analytical professionals. I've seen people in most of the organizations who are working in the business developing sector or departments. Those people are really needed by most of the organizations. So it's a kind of top rated kind of course that you need to learn, or skills. Then in terms of recessions proof, there is a high demand across banking sectors, telecommunications companies or organizations or firms, also governments and non-organizationals and tech. They need to learn about business. They need to learn about business analysis. You need to have a business developer, because you can't build a product without a business analyst. They need to come at the center of everything, be it is it a system, is it a product, is it a platform that will help the organization to move upwards. The business developer is at the center of everything. So you see how the reason why we need business developers currently. And then there's so many millions of roles currently. Um, uh, Most of it are being embedded in project management, quantitative analysis, and then we also have those who are working in product and consulting jobs. For example, you personally, for me, work in I work in risk consulting. So for us to be able to audit clients, we need to understand how that project is working. If I'm working for an engagement of a client, I need to understand, I need to have an overall business analysis skills, because you can't audit a firm or maybe an organization without understanding how they are operating. If maybe you are auditing the entire book of that organizations, how can you audit an entire book of an organizations if you can understand how they are operating? So that requires a massive kind of skills that is all around business developing, business analysis. Because if you're working in consulting firms, what they do is that you are advising a client of if they are making losses in their book, how best can you advise that clients to be able to curb any kind of losses that they're making? If maybe they are buying things that are not necessary, there's some, if you compare their, we have what we call time value of money and everything, and then we have cash flows of the company. You need to advise them. Maybe they have more money going to the expenses and other going to miscellaneous kind of things. If we compare their outgo and income, what is coming in into the company is totally different. So you see, you need before you tell them to cut their outgo, you have to have done a very good business analysis that will help the company know that okay, we have a lot of outcome, we have money which is going outside compared to what is coming within the company, and what is the root cause of all that. So you see, like it's kind of skills that you need to have. And then the advantage is that you'll graduate with what we call a recognized kind of a credential and a portfolio of practitioner techniques. And then the good thing is that for us, we will make sure you do a real business case. We normally have what we call business cases. You'll notice that when you get into companies, we have companies that are dealing with, they have what we call business case, a real business case that you're solving, business case. So we will give you a real business case so that you can be able to solve. And a real one, not just something that has been generated online. We'll give you a real business case and you need to solve it. Actually, for the other cohorts, they're still working on it, and we will review and we will present to us so that we see if you have understood the business analysis part of it. So you make sure every chapter that you learn, you have to apply them. If you learn about data modeling, you have to bring out that. If you learn about dealing with stakeholders, you have to bring out that knowledge and everything. Then in this program, so these are some of the things that you will be able to do. Um, you make sure that at the end of the day, these are the things that we have mapped your course to. 5 objectives, which covers everything, the entire program. So first is to apply the business analysis frameworks and techniques. You will come to understand what is frameworks. So these are structures that every organization use to solve a particular problem of a particular organizations. So we have different frameworks that we use to solve problems from each particular company. You will notice that the same framework that you use to solve a problem from Deloitte is a different framework that we'll use to solve a problem from Jubilee Insurance or maybe Britam or maybe talk about equity or maybe KCB banks. So those frameworks are totally different. Then here is about key business analysis frameworks, so techniques and methodologies. So we'll see that applied, not just memorized. We are not focusing about memorizations because we know that everyone can be able to do that. Is that if I want to hire you today, Walter, is that I'll ask you, what can you do? Yeah, not what you have memorized. And then you should be able to engage and manage stakeholders because you need to learn how to identify stakeholders, analyze stakeholders, and manage stakeholders across the full project lifecycle. Let me tell you, there is a lot of uh, money moving around, especially if you are a very good business developer or a business analyst. Talk about the NGOs. NGOs normally have a lot of projects that they work with. And you personally getting some knowledge of project management that we will see we have what you call agile methodologies, the agility part of you being a business analyst, the skills that should come out like flexibility, collaborations, and feedback, which is one of the most important part of that. Then you have to master what you call requirement documents. So we have some of the best requirement documents that you need to understand them because every business operates with it. Like we normally have the BRDs, and then we have the FRDs, and then we have the SRDs. BRD is the business requirement document. We will see about that. We have the functional requirement document, and then we have the system requirement document. So these are the most important kind of documents within a business, and you need to understand how they operate, how does the business use it, and how do they use to bring out the idea, or how they use it. And you'll see how different departments uses different documents to build the solutions that they want. Then talk about the model and optimizations process, whereby you analyze business processes with industry standards tool. One things that you need to learn about is the business process model notations. And then there is what we call the data flow diagrams and more of them. You'll notice that you need sometimes uh, one of the best skills that you need to have as a business analyst is a communication skills. You need to have to be a very good communicator, both verbal and non-verbal, also written and everything. You need to be a very good communicator because you'll be dealing with stakeholders who have invested in very big projects. Talk about NGOs. These are people who have come together. th- they are billionaires. They have invested in a certain project, and you have had a chance to be part of that project. Remember that you'll have to deal with them. When you have a project, you personally, you know what is a system, but you find that that person you are is not that technical as you. So that person need to understand what is a system. If you tell them that we need to have some a very good UI, like this system has to have a very user interface. What is that? How are you going to explain to that person? So you see, you need to to learn about the business process model notations, which assist you to model that kind of problem, and then the people are going to understand what you're talking about. Then talk about assessing the risk and validating solutions at the end of the day. Remember that every project comes with risk, or every kind of system come up with risk. There is a certain processes that you can recommend, but that kind of process has a risk toward the company. That's why assessing the risk in advance before finalizing the process, or maybe the system or the product that you people are building, you need to validate the solutions. Like the same way we do regressions and everything. At the end of the day, you must check if the data is a perfect fit, the model is a perfect fit to the data. Yeah. So you have to make sure that you validate the solutions. And how do you do that? This is coming out through what you call risk management. How do you manage risk? There is risk management is the same as risk reductions. There is what you call risk mitigations. So we'll see some of the ways that you can reduce risk. Then there is solution assessment. You have to assess solutions. So how do you do that? And then there is validations for successful kind of project outcomes. So these are the 5 things that you've mapped for this entire course. You need to understand this. Applying the business frameworks, engaging and managing stakeholders, and then we have what you call mastering the documents that I've talked about. Then there is model and optimize kind of processes, and then there is assessing the risk and validating the solutions part of it. Then in terms of the program curriculum, so this program has 13 modules. In terms of foundations and co-crafted module, one of out of that, you'll notice that we have 13 modules. So we have module 1, which is the business analysis and stakeholders overview, which will start very soon. Then module 2 is the business process model notations, requirement elicitations, and management. So you learn about elicitations, you'll know the meanings and everything. Then we have module 3. So module 3 is about business tools, overview, and design documents. So here you're going to learn about the business requirement documents, which is the BRD. You are going to learn about the FRD, which is the functional requirement document. Then you're going to learn about the system requirement document as well. Then we also have other documents that are used by business analysis bodies. So we have the IIBA, so we'll see about that, and then we have the ECBA documentation standards. Then we have 4. 4 is about enterprise analysis, Agile and Scrum. So we'll learn about that. We learn about some frameworks that you can use. So it's all about applying IT, like how do you use, how do you apply technology into your business, into your organizations, and what are some of the advantages that organizations that uses them. But we have, how do you choose the best IT enterprise, IT to employ into your business? There are those frameworks, or what we call frameworks, that or methods you can use. We have the TOGAF, the Zachman, the McFarlane's Grid, and then we have the Agile manifestos and Scrum in details. Then module 5 is about understanding the use case modeling and the user stories. So this is how about I was talking about your communication skills. Uh, Here you need to come up with ways of communicating or letting out an idea so that anyone who is your target audience can be able to understand what you personally you're talking about. What kind of solution are you proposing to these particular stakeholders, or maybe the board of directors, or maybe the entire company? Maybe you've had a chance to present your solution to the CEO of the company. Maybe your manager is there and other colleagues and so on. So how do you make them? And maybe they have brought other stakeholders from outside who wants to invest in this particular project. So you need to understand there is what we call user stories and use cases. So you see, we'll use use cases to give out the user stories. Then talk about module 6. I told you about the data modeling part of it. So it's all about data modeling. Here, what one thing, things that you need to learn, it's about the basics data modeling and what we call the entity relationship diagram, what we call the ERDs mostly. So these are what we use to communicate. Remember that if it is a system, I hope once in school, maybe you learned about having like a system. Within that system, maybe it's a library system. If it is a system, we have what we call entities. Then within the system, we can have entities like we can have the librarian, the what others? Okay, let me give a very perfect example of ordering process. We have a customer, we have the order, and then we have the order item and so on. You'll notice the customer is an entity in this particular system. So how do you represent this particular customer? How do you represent an order and so on until the checkout, the process when a customer does the checkout and everything, yeah? So it's all about modeling. So, and then here is all about developing logical and physical data models. So there is a difference between physical and data models. Then, or the same, there is about understanding and creating what you call a process flow diagrams, how things are moving within a system, within a process, those things. And then there is what we call the mapping a business uh, processes to a data model. Because at the end of the day, if you come up with a solution, is the solution a perfect fit to the problem that the company is facing? So that's why we do things like business mapping at the end of the day. Then you need to apply data modeling techniques in business analysis. So that's your end goal, yeah? Then there is requirements, validations, and verifications. So here is whereby, for example, you personally, Walter, if you want to propose a solution to the company, remember that this particular solution will have requirements. So in this particular case, uh, you need to have requirements that you'll need to make your project successful. But what you normally do in advance is to make sure that whatever you guys are bringing on board as maybe the developers or maybe the people who are providing solutions to the business, you need to uh, make sure that that item that you're bringing on board contributes to the final output or will contribute to the objective of the company. So here it's about reviews, walkthroughs. There is what we call RTM, uh, then creation. So we learn about the RTM, managing requirement changes and everything. Because at the end of the day, if it is a project, remember that you guys have to track about the requirements that you've used. Because if it is a big organization, sometimes audit is normally done. And remember that this is a project of the company and it has to be audited. And this RTM is what we use to track all the requirements across all the sprints of the project. Remember, you know what is sprints? We normally split stages of a product or maybe a process or a system into various splits uh, called sprints or maybe stages, maybe phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5, and so on. I don't want to take a lot of time. So module 8 is about communications and stakeholders engagement. Is about workshops, managing expectations, and building what we call consensus. Then we have risk analysis and management in business analysis. So here is all about risk identifications. There is what you call prioritizations, and then mitigations, and then reporting. Then number 10 is about module 10 is about solution assessment and validations. You'll notice that these sections from module 8 we are focusing more on the risk and you're focusing more on the risk and solutions, and to make sure that at the end of the day the company tries to get what they want. So there is about requirement documentations and management. So you see here it's all about reporting. Then there is module 12 about change management and impact analysis. Then module 13 is about business process improvement and re-engineering, because sometimes maybe along the way things are not working for the company. So you guys have to shift things. You have to go back to the drawing board and to make sure that you guys are now reshaping things, or maybe now trying to looking for other methods or other ways you guys can be able to improve the company, or maybe the solution that you guys came up with. That's why you see that if you have had a chance to talk about processes, especially in the current, we have machine learnings and everything. You notice that machine learning follows the same process as this, but they take a different approach. Like for example, they start with the data collections, they collect the data, and then after that, they do data preparations. After data preparations, that is all about cleaning the data, checking for missing values, checking for duplicates, and so on and so on and so on. Then after that, they go to uh, things like feature engineering, identifying most variables that are important or are contributing to the final outputs of the model itself. You see, these are model. You see, this is just like providing a solution, and then from there you now train your model. You train based on the data. You make sure that if you're developing a model that is going to maybe track 1,000 transactions per minute, you now train it so that you make sure that it gives you the same 1,000 transactions. And if it gives you 700 transactions, it means that there is still a gap. What do you guys do? You go back and retrain the model, retrain until you train it based on that data. Then after that you test. There is all about testing and everything. If it does well, you now go to the last part of it, whereby you guys are doing the deployment part of it. Then after that you go to now what you call monitoring and updating it and so on, and maybe focusing on the communication part of it and reporting. So you see, this it's all about the same thing, and it's the same case that happens in business and so on. So that is it. Module 13 is about business process improvement and engineering. Then so this is how the program runs. So duration is supposed to be exactly 2 months if it is full time, so or 4 months part time. So design around working professionals like you. And then mode is online or physical, but currently we are mostly doing it online for flexibility of the people. So most of the time is we just have a flexibility from morning up to 10, but mostly those who are working, we have them in the evening. That is from 8 to 10, approximately 2 hours, but sometimes it can take 1 hour, 30 minutes, depending on how rigorous the content is that we are covering that day. Then a faculty that we are training, we are practicing, we are analysts, business analysts, so we understand what all this business analysis is, and that's why we are here training this particular program. So how this program is built for? So these are some of the things. So it serves professionals at every particular level. So if you sit between the businesses and its solutions, so this is the particular course for you. So we have the project and project managers. So those who are mostly handling projects, those are the PM, the project management part of it. And then we have those who are focusing more on delivery, that is deliverables and under it. So we have software developers and team leaders, because software developers are part of solutions because every time they provide solutions. And then we have the business developers, or maybe those who are we call the sales executive part of it. Then we have customer service representatives. So these are just examples that of the people that fall under this. Then we have the quality assurance professionals. They are also part of it. Then small and medium enterprises in maybe IT, KPOs, and BPOs. Then we have graduates who are entering analysis programs. If you are a graduate who have maybe finished their program, maybe they've been and they want to upskill in business analysis, so this is the right program for you. Then your part is in this mostly is about certifications. So it's all about we talk about steep learning curve. So it's about training. So that's why you are starting with the training, whereby you need to complete all the 13 modules with live practitioners-led sessions, which we are doing from now. I'm trying to give you a very good guidance. Then, after learning that, you have to practice what you have learned. Yeah, you have to apply the techniques through exercises, case studies, and documents. So you need to practice what you've learned. So we start by training you to give you the knowledge and the directions. Then you practice what you've learned. Then you have to sit for the examinations at the end of it all. So we need to bring this to your attention. There is an exam for it, which is an online exam under the GSDC qualifications. It's not multiple choice mostly, so you'll have a chance to do the exam. Then certified. So you're going to get your certification. You're going to given a certificate after you've passed your exam, and you become a certified business analyst at the end of the day. So, but one thing is you need to understand is that if you learn and you don't practice, you're going to forget it. So what you need to do is that you have to keep yourself with the current evolving industry demand. So your certificate is the start of the journey, not the end. So you need to keep on practicing what you've learned in class because we are humans and we are prone to forgetting most of the time. So we need to put that into practice. So at least if you learn about documentations, you learn about data modeling, bringing out ideas to life and everything. So you need to make sure that you can be able to do a very good data modeling part of it. Then after that is that you need to understand that you're joining a proven community because I've told you that we have trained more than 1,500 learners across all the courses that we offer in at African Center for Data Science. So and then I told you we have 20 plus elite industry trainers and then 13 practitioner modules that you're going to cover. Then just to your attentions, you can see these are some of the organizations that our students are working. Mostly in Safaricom, we have MTN, KPMG, Deloitte, Telcom, NCBA, Britam, Sanlam, Zamara, Churaco. And then we have also the Save the Children, IRC, NSSF, Office of the Auditor General. So these are things that are documented. So it's not that we've just stated online. We have the Rwanda Revenue Authority. We have also students from Uganda. We have University of Rwanda, and then we have the PCA Kikuyu Hospitals, Java House, and so many more. So these are some of the um, organizations where our alumni are working. And so how will you make the most of this cohort? So uh, um so here, my commitment is I'm just committing is that practitioner grade content mapped to the GSDC body of knowledge. So I'll be able to train you on that, everything that is needed. Then we'll have some real templates of the BRDs, FRDs, RTM. So RTM stands for Requirement Traceability Matrix. Yeah. So don't forget about that. Then the BPN is the business process model notations that we will see that you can use to do your data modeling part of it. Then the sessions, recordings, and materials after every class. So you'll be getting all the recordings, or even after this, I'll be able to share this introduction session. Then there is direct support on questions between sessions. In case you feel like the content is becoming overwhelming, you need some assistance somewhere, you need to just communicate and tell us that. And in case of any emergency within the classes and everything, you need to communicate in advance. If in case you know that you're not going to attend a class, or you need to communicate in advance, like 2 hours, 3 hours before, one day before, you just tell us so that because we as trainers, we also have other things, but you are our priority, but communication is good. So this one, your commitment is just to attend the live sessions, yeah? Uh, you just complete all the exercise that we give you across all the modules, and then you have to bring real problems from your workplace to analyze. In case you have a problem from your workplace and you feel that you need to solve it, why don't you tell us or maybe document that problem, and then we can be able to guide you or give you some guidance on how you can come out with the best solution from it. Yeah. So from this particular cohort, you punctuality is good, and then there is all about confidentiality and professionalism, because what you learn from this program is specifically for you. So anything that is shared within the company, it sticks with you, the materials, the recordings, and everything. It's the property of the company. So you're not supposed to breach any kind of it. Yeah. That is all about the data privacy of a company, because all this belongs to the company. So here I'll just open a session for questions in case you have any questions. And I remember that I didn't give you a chance to maybe introduce yourself. You can be able to do that also as well. And these are our details, the numbers, the emails, and everything. And personally, you can reach out to me personally in case of anything. And if it is a class thing, please type in the class group. That is our main channel of communication, yeah? And then, so your questions will be around the modules, the schedules, the exam, or maybe your career and anything that you feel as that we can assist you with, yeah? So karibu sana to the cohort. Let's build your business analysis career together. Yeah, so that is the end of my presentation. So Walter, in case you have anything, you can ask, and we can call it a night from there. Okay, amazing, amazing, amazing. Yes, yes, exactly. Yes, yes. Okay, amazing. Congratulations for that. That's good. So currently you are in Uganda currently. Oh, Kampala. Oh, okay, 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 okay. Amazing, amazing. That's good. That's good. Okay, that's good. So do you have any questions or maybe something that you want to ask? Oh, okay, great. I understand. Yeah, I'm quite sure that as we will be proceeding with classes, we will uh, you'll get some questions to ask along the way, which is quite good. Then I probably we will be having classes not all the week, like we can be having it sometime 2 days a week or maybe even thrice, or maybe it depends on how my schedule will be, but we will agree on specific days of the week when we can have the classes. Like for example, we can have it on Tuesday. I prefer mostly Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or maybe we can, or maybe another one on Friday, if in case that is okay. But we can have it thrice a week or twice a week. I think for better learning, it will be before, and then after that, we'll share. We normally share the recordings and the materials at once, so it will always be. But I can create. I'll see if I can create a Google Classroom. I have a Google. We have a Google Classroom for this course, where we can be putting the materials in advance, so you can maybe go through it. Then you can come to class maybe while you understand what we are doing today. But I prefer that you just come to class so that you get it, you get the concept from the class, and then you can go later on and then read it better when you have understood or when we have gone through that particular module. I think it's one of the best ways. But it's okay, no problem. But it's fine, no problem. We can work with that, no worry. I can be sending it in advance, and then you can go through it, and then from there I can be able, yeah, yeah, sure, sure, no problem. I'll be able to do that. I'll be able to work with that. Yes, but it's, mm, no problem. We are going to work with that. That is okay. That's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure. If there is no other question, we can call it a night. So probably we can, I suggest we can have our first class, we can have our module one, we can have it tomorrow or Wednesday, either of the 2 days, but not Wednesday. We can have it Thursday or Friday, either of the 2 days. We can have it, are you okay if we start tomorrow? Okay, great, fine then. We can have it tomorrow, then we will start the other ones. We'll proceed from next week. So we'll just have one class tomorrow only. No, we'll not have a class on Friday. Yes, fine, fine. Okay, Walter, you have a good time. Have a good evening. See you in tomorrow's class. Sure, I'll share today's recording. Fine, fine.